What's up, race fans, and welcome to another episode of the Pecino Report. This is the podcast that gets straight past the hype. I used to say we'd go straight up the inside of the hype, but after what happened last weekend in Moto3, I don't want to be going up the inside of anybody. But we go around the outside. We don't do a nasty block pass. We do it like a gentleman, around the outside of the hype to get you the goss, the news as to what's happening in the MotoGP paddock. So here we are, season 2021. It's episode 28. It's the Izan Guevara episode. Who's he? He's a young lad from Mallorca. Manuel loves him. He's a fantastic young rider. He's really, really good. Had his first race win this year in Circuit of the Americas. A little bit controversial after they had the not restart, but he's got a win under his belt, and he's going to be going on to do big things in the future.
And Stu, sorry to interrupt you. He was the main rival of Pedro Acosta in the Younger Championship. Ooh. So they have been rival, and I have to tell you something. Izan was the one who normally won the races.
There you go. Pedro's primary competitor. So yeah, as I think we've said before, so maybe with Pedro moving up next year, so we might see a bit more from Izan next year. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, for that. So there we go. So here we are. Yeah, episode 28. So much happening at the penultimate round last weekend in the Algarve. What a beautiful circuit, the roller coaster. We're not going to mess around. We're going to get straight into it. We got, hi, Andrea, how you going? Hi, Manuel, how you going?
Hi.
Yep. No intros today.
It could be perfectly episode 37, episode 87, episode 43 or 53. I don't remember.
That could be episode 40. So much going on. I mean, first of all, let's talk about the quiet race. MotoGP. Wasn't that nice?
I fell asleep through some of it. Plus, here in Australia, it was like stupid o'clock in the morning. So I was trying with all my might to stay awake.
Exactly. Manuel, I ask you, first of all, has Fabio Quartararo just checked out for the year? Does he not care anymore? Yeah.
Remember in our previous episode, we said that Portugal could be a special race because everyone would race without pressure, and that would give them freedom to be what they are, or to show what they can do. So we saw that Fabio is already on the Côte d'Azur on holidays.
Exactly. Alex Marquez is wondering where his next contract's going to come from.
Yeah, exactly. Poor Marc Marquez is again sitting on the bench, you say?
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, that's the news for me for MotoGP. Yeah, on the track, it's off the track, isn't it?
Yeah, so there were three competitors that we wanted to see, maybe four. We wanted to see Pecco, Quartararo, Marc racing together, and maybe also a more relaxed Joan Mir. Two out of them, one was physically not there, and the other one was mentally not there.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. 2 out of 3 ain't bad. That's right. So it was nice to see Suzuki get up there, though.
Yeah, but we saw Bagnaia really unbeatable, big weekend. Remember the last 5 poles were his.
Yep, he's dominating, isn't he?
I think 2 victories and 1 podium. So it's absolutely clear that Pecco is the strongest rider at the end of the championship. Very clear. And that the Ducati is the best bike, also very clear.
Yep.
Remember that there were 4 Ducatis in the 5 first positions on the grid. So Pecco was, unquestionable, a nice race, easy race. Mir tried to do something, as we saw, but it lasted 2 laps or 3 laps. Then he was gone. So not much history in that race, apart from another nice victory.
I think in the top 3 for that entire race, in the MotoGP race, out of those top 3, there was like 2 or 3 overtakes for the entire race, and it was just like half a second gap. So it wasn't really much in it, was there? Yeah.
And the only battle we could have happened that was between Alex Marquez and Jack did not happen because the red flag ruined that last chance to see a fight.
I know we joke because I messaged Stu and said, Alex Marquez rides incredible when his brother's not there.
Yes.
And I think you made a joke about, like contracts coming up or whatever, but he seriously stands out when Mark is not on the track.
He does.
He rides differently. Would you
Yeah,
agree,
look,
Manuel?
on Saturday, it was clear because when I had a look on the pace in the FP4, which is the race
Indicator.
most similar. Yeah, he was position 7.
Yeah.
So he looked pretty good, and it happened. And for me, it was interesting to see, as you said, this first ever front row of Mir in MotoGP.
It's crazy, isn't it? It's his first front row has come after he's been world champion.
Yeah.
Like, he's not even world champion anymore. He's been dethroned, and he's just now got his first front row start.
Yeah, and I was curious to see, because we have seen him normally in the first part of the races, catching up, overtaking riders. So I was curious to see how would he perform with nobody to overtake in front of him.
Yep.
So he did what he had to do, but he was clearly inferior under Pecco Bagnaia performance.
Sure,
so it was there.
Yeah, and it's not really a very good track for him to be in that position as well, with the length of the straight at Portimao as well. The Ducati just
you know how much at the end of the straight they reach around 350 k's. 350 too.
That is nuts, isn't it? It's absolutely
That's
nuts,
faster than me and my mate's Mustang.
Oh, just thought I'd drop that one in there.
Oh, sorry.
Indeed.
Hey, it's all I can compare it to.
Yeah, exactly. Just quickly, the red flag. What was Iker Lecuona thinking? What was going on there? He just tried to stuff it up the inside of Miguel, did he? At Miguel's home track.
Yeah, Miguel is another of the disappointments of the weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember, after the first race, we called it the Miguel Oliveira track, because he was so above the rest. Yeah, but he completely disappeared. What happened to KTM this season has been really something to analyze, because do you remember, it is so long ago, but do you remember the races he did in Mugello? He made second in Italy. He won in Montmeló. He won. He did a good race, and we all thought, wow.
Here we go.
And then suddenly, they vanished.
Yep.
So it's so really.
We need to. Yes, definitely. We need to have. I think we need to do a special and just talk about that. So, have you got contacts in the KTM factory? Can you talk to those guys and do some analysis?
Yeah. I because I am doing a special feature about. I'm talking with all the chief engineers of the project and asking them how do they see MotoGP within 5 years.
Yep. Cool.
So in this conversation, I have one chat with the KTM guy in Valencia. So I will ask him about this season as well. So
yeah, nice.
Just a little take of what I have heard so far. They told me, look, what is impossible is that if every year we get 3-4 more horsepower, in 5 years we are around 300 k's CV horsepower. Yeah. So this cannot happen.
Yeah,
that's insane.
So what he told me, not non-officially, is that the factories will sit down and put a limit to the bike's performance.
They need to. We've spoken before about how hard it is for the riders to keep up with the developments and the pressure on their bodies.
Yeah, but even the engineers realize that it's getting too far.
That is insane. Is that? I mean, we heard Casey talking on the weekend as well about how far the electronics have come and what he thought about the control electronics. Is there a place, they're developing engines, they're developing the mechanical systems. Is there an argument to say, okay, develop the mechanical systems as far as you can, but cut the electronics right back? Because then that applies another type of limitation, because the electronics allow you to use all the power, don't they? Whereas if you cut a lot of those electronics, then, you can have all the power in the world, but it comes ultimately down to the skill of the rider.
Look, one thing pushes to the other. Basically, the aerodynamics came because of the Strait of Mugello.
Yeah.
Remember in Mugello, the straight at the end of the straight, there is kind of a, how do you say in English, when
a hump.
it goes like a hump. And this made the bikes basically the front wheel, they went wheelie. So this was very dangerous. When they first put these wings, so the front didn't come up, but the rear lifted and the bike started to spin and the engine over revved at that point. So so at the end they used that to push kind of a safety system, but this has pushed them forward and every time everything is faster. And the electronics, it's a combination. Another thing that I won't tell you who was it, explained to me about the future, was that he thinks that this system that lower the bikes will be taken away.
Oh, interesting. I like that. I like the sound of that, definitely. Cool.
Because he told me, look, he told me that as the system cannot be hydraulic, because it's forbidden, so it has to be mechanical. He said that system mechanical is so primitive that for an engineer it's like ugly,
Right. Okay. Yep.
So basically I think they will take this off, but the thing is to control basically the performance.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, very interesting. And you've got more of these conversations coming up with other engineers as well, do you, at the moment?
Yeah, I will have them with the 6 manufacturers.
Cool. Nice. Very nice indeed. All right.
And sorry, regarding this, the man you have behind you, Pecco, Gigi Dall'Igna, the Italian super genius, said after getting the constructor title, which Ducati got in this race, he said, okay, this is very nice. It's a very nice, but what I want is the riders' title.
Of course.
And he said, it's a shame because now we have the best rider and the best bike, and we didn't get it.
Oh, so he's clearly putting all his cards on this guy.
Exactly. Gigi finally has pointed to his number 1 rider. Remember that at the start of the season, he had 6 riders to choose. He gave 4 of them all the same cards.
All the good stuff.
And this guy behind you is the one who has pushed him up and has reivindicated the leader position.
Cool. Yeah, indeed. Andrew, go on.
Oh, I didn't even say anything.
Sorry, I thought you said something.
No. My brain's going and I'm trying to not interrupt on where we're at with topics, but I know there's been a lot of talk about Casey Stoner and he was there doing a bit of coaching with Pecco and Jack, and there's been word, is it appropriate now to talk about the possibility of him coming in as a rider coach?
Before we do, yes, I reckon definitely. We'll definitely talk about that. Before we do, as we're talking about Ducati, there's 2 things on exactly what you just said there before, Manuel. Yes, Ducati have just taken the Constructors' Championship. I don't really think that means anything, given that they've got 6 bikes on the grid. It's like an army against 2 kids in school. Like imagine being Suzuki up against Ducati and going, oh, let's win the Riders' or the Constructors' Championship. Never going to happen. So yeah, I don't really think that's a big thing.
Look, as you say, it has been like a coward fight because it was 6 riders, and the only one who hold Yamaha, who were the big contender of Ducati until last weekend, was 1 rider. So it has been Quartararo against the whole Ducati army.
Exactly, that which is crazy, and to think that it's even still been a close contest is absolutely insane. And the other thing for me is I noticed on the team photo that they put on there, they didn't have one of the riders, Luca Marini, not there because he hadn't scored any points. They did. What kind of a team boss what kind of a team boss doesn't let you in the end of year school photo because you hadn't scored any points? I thought that was
Did they
pathetic.
say that? Is that actually why he wasn't there?
It
That's
hasn't
your
been
assumption.
said,
Yeah,
but-
because look, the points for that championship work in the first rider in the grid is the one who gives the points to that championship.
Exactly.
This means Bastianini was there because he was
He'd
positioned
been top
P3
Ducati. Yep.
in Misano, and all the others in some races have been in the front. So that was the reason. It was maybe not very elegant, to have just one rider out, but this is how they did it.
He wasn't in the toilet or something? Did they not realize he wasn't there?
He was holding the camera. That's what it was. He was holding
No, probably
That's quite a statement.
He was in the toilet after, not before.
Yeah,
when he saw
crying,
that photo.
That's a bit.
No, and I wanted to tell you about Yamaha. Look, as you know, it was Quartararo's first crash in the season.
Yes, that's right.
Yep.
First DNF, because so far he had been the only riders in the 3 categories to finish all the races.
Yep, Mr. Consistency.
Okay, so by not finishing the race, Yamaha achieved in Portugal his worst result since 1995.
Really?
Yes.
What?
That's brilliant.
Because Valentino finished 13th. Since 1995, Yamaha has never had as result as in Portugal. So this, if we have criticized how dependent Honda is to Marc Marquez, it's much worse with Yamaha.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I had some notes to talk about exactly that. That's right. My last point about Ducati was saying that basically for MotoGP for the remaining race, the only thing that I am now looking at, top 3 places are locked in. The only thing that's competitive for me is that Jack needs to stay in front of Johann Zarco to keep his spot in the World Championship. That's all I've got. That's all I'll be looking at.
Can we talk about Casey now?
Yes, let's talk about Casey. Go for it. Coaching. Yeah, they're talking about Casey coaching.
And I think there was a statement from Pecco and Jack saying they'd even take a pay cut to subsidize it.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't wait to ask Manuel about this one.
Broccoli have returned to the scene.
Yeah, I thought that was
it's broccoli time. Look, I have had a big discussion with my brother Giovanni Zamagni.
I know. I saw you two talking to Casey. I saw you asking a question, and then Giovanni asking right after you. So, hi, Giovanni.
Giovanni admires Casey a lot, the same than I do. But look, I know that half of the world or 3/4 of the world will be against me. But a rider who has retired 10 years ago comes to the actual MotoGP and tells the guy, the top guy, the fastest rider in the field, how he has to ride. Yeah. Come on. What does this mean? That this guy
what value can he give?
No. And what means that Bagnaia, being a challenger to the championship, has to learn from a guy who has retired 10 years ago, who, was a top. But things have changed so much. He has to get advices. He's supposed to be the next world champion. Get advice from a guy who has retired 10 years ago. Bo.
Bo, exactly. Yeah, genau. Yeah.
But on the other side, Giovanni's argumentos, no, because he sees things that others don't see. He can. But Casey was giving advices on a track he had never raced and he had never seen before arriving the previous day. So I know that probably others have another idea, but for me, this is like, hang on, are the actual riders so weak or so bad or so slow that a rider 10 years ago has to tell them how to do a corner, how to accelerate?
Yep. And there's word that Casey's also going to be going to Valencia as well and continuing to coach the Ducati riders in Valencia as well.
Yeah. And I don't know, obviously there is a lot of marketing in this as well. You can imagine, no?
Yeah,
If Ducati, because obviously Casey has been brought to Europe by Ducati, basically.
That was going to be my question. Why was it? Because I know at the moment we're not necessarily open to travel. So I was like, oh, how is he there? How did he get there? What was the purpose?
He lives in Monaco, doesn't he?
Oh, does he?
Yeah.
No,
I thought he came back here to go fishing.
Oh,
no, he
has
was
been
in Australia.
Okay.
But he said to us that Australia has opened the traveling.
No, from sort of. It's opened.
Depends who you are.
Yeah. It's opened a few states. Yeah, and you can go out certain circumstances.
Let's not get into this.
Oh, it's very great. It's all very depressing.
It's a bit of a shit fight here.
Where I am in Queensland, we're still locked down. We don't think we're going to stop being locked down in the state until after Christmas.
We've cancelled our trip to another state. We have 0 cases here in South Australia, and we've cancelled our trip to Western Australia because we have to have all these tests done, and the borders are, we don't even have any cases, so we're not going anywhere.
It's ridiculous.
I'm coming to Europe.
Here in Europe, life is basically normal.
Yeah, we'll catch up. That's what we do. We'll catch up in like 5 years.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there, indeed.
And the US have opened the borders. For them, we are now completely free to go there again.
Yep.
Just come here. It's like the convict days.
Yeah. No, I've been seeing all of my work acquaintances and colleagues from Europe and the US tweeting and LinkedIn,
dancing, drinking.
Messaging.
We're here with
going to all these conferences and meeting each other, and I'm going
here in South Australia. I don't know what it's like in Queensland, Stu, but we are not even allowed to stand and drink an alcoholic beverage because apparently it might pass the COVID that we don't have here.
That's right. Yep, exactly. Yeah, there's rules around. You can't stand and drink and dance in nightclubs and this.
No singing. Singing spreads COVID.
That's right. Yeah, it spreads it indeed.
Anyway,
enough of that. Yeah, so Casey. Realistically, I mean, I don't think there's much credence to this thing about him coaching. I think it's a bit of a media beat up, but it was interesting to see him in the paddock and to see he's going to Valencia. That press conference that you were at there, Manuel, that he gave, I thought it was some good insights into basically what he's been doing for the last 10 years. And it was really quite shocking to see how much his life has been affected by this chronic fatigue syndrome.
Has it been 10 years since he stopped riding?
10 years, 2011, after he won the World Championship, he on the Honda, he retired straight away because he was having these mystery illnesses and problems, and he'd lost motivation and he couldn't handle all the media commitments. But yeah, just to hear now that day to day his struggle is to maintain the energy, that was quite shocking. You were there, Manuel. What did you say?
Yeah. It was when we knew that he had gone through some issues, but it's chronic, as you say. It's something that is there. He had to learn how to manage it and deal with it. But he's 60%, he said, I think, about his normal energy, and he has to manage it through the day. So
Otherwise, he's just got no energy, and he has to go and sleep, and he can't move, and crazy.
They don't know what it is. It's just some kind of chronic fatigue.
Exactly. It's just a chronic fatigue syndrome. Yeah, that's it. So nuts. Anyway, yeah, so that's MotoGP. Yes, like I said, for me, the things to look for in the final race of the season, Jack needs to stay in front of Johan Zarco to retain that position in the championship. And interestingly, Brad Binder needs to score a point. He needs to finish in the top 10. If he finishes in the top 10 and scores a point, then he finishes in the World Championship ahead of Marc Marquez. So that's going to be a big one. I think that's going to be a big one for him as well. So, hey, segue Sam says, let's talk about Marc Marquez. What is going on? Diplopsy or whatever it is in his eye from 2011 when he had the injury. Oh, is that from the concussion, from banging things loose, you think, Manuel, or what's going on?
Once again, HRC way of handling the communication is as bad as good they are in technology. So horrendous. Once again, they have learned nothing about communication, nothing. Wow. Because look, after what happened with his arm, his shoulder, I thought they had learned something how to manage the situation, but no, something happened, and then there comes out a press release, HRC in the top, they said he has had 3 days ago accident with a light concussion, and the doctors have told him not to ride. No doctors, how do you say, informe, no? How do you say?
Information,
no doctors,
like certificate or a
certificate, because they just let it like this. The normal is that a doctor would have said something what he really has and so on, but nothing.
Yeah, it would have been an official report. Yeah,
exactly. That instead lockdown. So what this happened? A lot of speculations. They opened the door to rumors, hypotheses, speculation.
Yeah.
Was it the head? Was it the arm? Was it the shoulder? The journalist who is closer to the Marquez family, he spoke about a very harsh impact in his head, while the press release said a light
concussion.
Okay. This and here, nobody spoke anything. And I tell you something that is incredible. In these days, suddenly I heard from somebody that Shoei, that is Marc Marquez helmet brand, phoned to Marc Marquez environment and said, okay, send us the helmet because we want to analyze. Looks
okay. Yeah.
I had never thought about this, but it's logical. Send us the helmet because as you are talking about head concussion, everybody knows that we are Marc Marquez helmet. We need to know why our helmet has not done the work.
I can see where this is going. Go on.
That person that was called said, "Como? Sorry?" He said, yes. Our name is now in interrogation marks, in question marks.
Yep.
He said, "No, I'm not going to send the helmet." The Shoei people, "Como? Sorry? No. Big argue. No helmet."
Yep.
So that can mean two things. One, he wasn't wearing a Shoei helmet.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. He's not wearing a Shoei helmet. I'll bet you. He was wearing a Nolan or something.
I look my thing. I said two.
One and two.
That was not on purpose, I swear.
I was going to comment. I was like, no. Manuel's a gentleman. He's not meaning to flip the bird to everybody.
And number two, there has been no head.
Exactly.
Well, when we were talking about him having further surgery on his shoulder or arm before the end of the season.
Okay, but look, hang on. But this opens, obviously, all the rumors. So a journalist, a bastard journalist called Manuel Pecino.
Oh, I've heard about him.
Oh, don't trust that guy.
Wrote on the most popular sport newspaper. Basically,
Sport.
Basically this, saying that it was a disaster, it was not okay, they had to do something, they have learned nothing, they are the ones who feed the rumors and all the comments.
Fair comments, yep.
And I knew that last Monday there was supposed to be a doctor check to see how things were going.
Yep.
So I knew that this press release would come out on Tuesday. Okay.
Right. Yep.
And I knew on Sunday what was going to be written on that press release, because everything was already decided.
Right.
And it was decided almost immediately as he crashed. So everything's too violence and lies and hiding things. So everything. So then on Tuesday, this press release came out. Suddenly there was an official doctor statement.
All of a sudden.
Another thing I pointed is that as suddenly Marc Marquez disappeared from the social media,
He has, yeah.
something important was happening, because Marquez always post a photo, post something. So when he had that crash, he suddenly disappeared. So I wrote that, all this opens, because if it was something light and I was Marc Marquez, I would do a video saying, hey guys, well, I have not been able to be there, but don't worry.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So something was happening. And the other idiots from HRC just, well, he had this again. And then they forced his brother, because obviously, what did we do? We went to his brother, who lives with him every day, wakes up with him, and ask him, Alex, what happened? And his brother, obviously, poor Alex, had to say, I don't know. That day I was in the gym.
That day I was invisible. Yeah.
So, and then, well, and how is your brother? Well, as you know, he had a light head concussion. So everything was so vague, and everything was so clearly not true.
Yeah, exactly. He's had a light head concussion that has miraculously a week later dislodged a nerve in his eye.
And I wrote also, because I said, look, I'm not saying, no, I suppose that HRC doesn't lie, because on the first statement, there was the logo of HRC. And I said, I can imagine HRC lying. And I'm not saying that they lie, but there is another term called tell half-truth.
Yes.
Yeah. You know, because say that somebody like HRC is lying is harsh, and for HRC it would be, I wouldn't believe that. So I said, okay, they don't lie, but they are telling half-truth. And this half-truth take you to suppose things instead of knowing things. Well, Tuesday comes out the press release, bang, there we are. The truth comes out. Finally, the doctor's statement, Marc Marquez sending a text on the social media. Did you see?
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep. So I had that as another background. I was going to bring it up. Yeah.
So it was so easy. They could have done this the first time. Okay. Then they have this, he has this problem of this strange word. You have said it before,
diplopsy.
That one.
I can't say it either, Manuel. It's okay.
Yeah.
That is basically that he sees double. Okay. I spoke with a doctor, and he sees, look, he told me very quickly, every eye has basically 4 muscles behind that moves the eye. 4. And these 4 muscles focus at the same point, so you see just one image. If one of these muscles is hurt, then the eyes are not looking, one eye is not looking in the right direction. You know what I mean? They are not focusing on the same point. And therefore is why you see double. So this has happened. This happened to him before, when he was a Moto2 rider.
So 2011?
2011,
yeah.
And if you read his biography, he says that these were the hardest moment of his life, because he didn't know whether he would race again. And he says that he was many times, he was complaining to his mother, crying with his mother about his situation in 2011. Then fortunately,
10 years later.
Fortunately, he went under surgery, and because the doctors told him, you have to stay absolutely still for 30 days.
Yeah.
God, even I couldn't do that.
Don't move your eyes.
No, and they told him this from the very first moment. 30 days. In 30 days, if it does not get fixed by itself, returns to normal, then they have to think again to make surgery in his eye.
Yeah, fun.
This is the situation. And then, look, I was thinking all about this situation, and look how it looks like to Andra. Marc is in the championship already for 13 years in the World Championship. 13. Yeah. His age is 28, right? So he has been half of his life in the championship, And we all know half of his life getting bang, bang, because we know how he is. You know, can you imagine how many hits he got in his head in these 13 years?
Oh, yeah. It'll be like a boxer or a football player.
Yeah,
exactamente.
Yep. Exactamente. So I have to track down, because there are numbers, how many times he crashed. Remember, in 2015, he crashed 25 times in a year.
That's right. Yeah.
Put this in 13 years.
Mm-hmm.
In Moto2, he had that problem, that he had this vision problem. When he was in 125, he broke his leg. I remember perfectly as well. So he always have raced like this. And his body has been damaged so many times.
Yeah.
That there is a point where the body says, "Okay, enough."
Yeah.
At 28 too, it's not even, he's got a whole life.
28, 13 years getting banged, all 1 weekend yes and 1 weekend no.
No, he's got a whole life ahead of him. He needs to.
And another thing, remember, which has been, I can't remember, the last winter in which he has not had to recover from a surgery.
Yeah, exactly.
One shoulder, left shoulder, other shoulder, the feet, the butt. So there has been no one winter in the last 5 or 6 years where he has just relaxed.
That's it.
You know?
Yeah, I don't know. Realistically, yes, he's going to come back next year. Yes, he'll compete very, very hard next year, and he'll be up there. But really, I see him as being maybe another 2 or 3 years, and then his body just going, no more. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. He has a contract until, I think, 2024 or something like this. But the thing is that we don't realize, but he has been here around for such a long time. And remember, it seems that it has been yesterday when we spoke about the rookie beating all the records of young, the precocidad. How do you say precocidad? All the records of young riders.
Yes. Yeah.
The youngest to win a championship, the youngest to do a pole, and it seems that it has been.
And now here he is, 28 years old. Yeah.
And it was it was 7 years ago. 7 years ago.
But so keeping Valentino Rossi out of this equation, what is the general career life for a rider?
In the past,
from what I've seen, around about 30, early 30s, realistically.
Yeah, but when the Americans, Rainey and Duhan, they started to win when they were 28, 29.
Yep.
Okay.
The problem is now they start when they are 16.
Yeah.
So when they get to 30, they have been around for 14 years.
Yeah.
So is it about age, or is it about how long they're in the game for?
I think it's about how long they are. And look, Casey retired so young because he was simply burned.
Yeah. Exactly. Okay. Let's talk about something else. Let's talk about this guy and this guy.
Shit. I thought Remy was gonna stack it. I was like, nah, he's.
Oh my God.
I did not think he was gonna do it.
Neither did I. Like talk about a mature ride. I was going back and I was looking at Remy Gardner from last year on the 1XOX bike, and he had the one win at the end of the year at Portugal, and he had 1 or 2 podiums before that.
Yeah.
Yep, that was his first win. And before that, we were saying that yes, he'll be okay in the future. He's not bad, or we're not sure if he's actually that good or not because we couldn't see the potential. But oh my God, how much has he matured and developed? That ride last weekend, he just owned the entire field.
And the pressure he had on him was phenomenal.
Yep.
Even the week before, let alone that week. But
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. In Misano, you could feel that he had weekend under pressure in Misano.
Yes.
It was clear.
Yep.
So here he has grown. Look, when I saw Bezzecchi overtaking him, I said, wow, he is really trembling on the bike. But then, bang, he took out the Aussie spirit, his father's spirit.
That's
his
it.
father's crazy.
The Gardner spirit.
The Gardner spirit, because Wayne has been the bravest rider I have ever seen on a bike.
Yeah.
And then he went bang, bang, and he massacred the 25 mentality when he got over, you know?
Yeah. He really
and
did.
on a side note, for Raul rookie, he rode in. It's been such a obviously our hearts with Remy because we're Australian, but seeing Raul ride like he did as well, and he kept it together, and I could tell how nervous he was before they went out. He was a bit shaky and a bit.
You talk about mature riders,
God.
You know, about young riders, like Manuel. You were saying about how young these guys come onto these large bikes now. Raul, for a young guy, for a rookie, that is so much maturity. He spotted that, yes, he had the soft tire. It started going off. He didn't try to push it too hard. He could quite easily have done what he did in was it
Misano.
US? Misano, sorry, yeah. And he could have just come off chasing him realistically. But no, he stayed on the bike. Very, very mature.
Yeah, but sincerely, that was the same way that Raul threw away the championship in Misano. After the race in Portugal, I think nobody can question Remy's world title. Okay, there are still 2 points he has to do, but only a disaster or really bad luck. There are 25 points in the game and he has 23. So after that race, everybody has a recognition to Remy Gardner, you know?
Yeah, exactly. And look, hey, we understand. Yeah, the job's not done yet. You know, stranger things have happened in World Championship racing, and so we're not counting any chickens before they've hatched. But realistically, yeah, he is so close to that world title now. It's crazy.
And it's so good because I did a statistic the other day in Portugal, and between Spaniards and Italians, they have 60% of the grid. 60? No. Well, yes, 60% of the grid in all categories, right?
Yeah.
Moto3, Moto2. And this year we have a French world champion. We will have, touch wood, an Aussie world champion and a Spaniard.
Yes.
So that's fantastic, you know, for the sport.
The diversity is still there. That's exactly right. Yeah. And some of the other guys coming through as well. Like we saw Cameron Bobier have a really good ride as well.
Yeah, but I imagine how is the atmosphere in Australia with this chance? Because you don't win a championship.
I don't think anyone who watches MotoGP.
It's disgusting. Like honestly, Manuel, you would be so disappointed. We had the Mexico F1 race on last weekend as well, and Daniel Ricciardo crashed into somebody on the first lap and ended up finishing 8th, 9th, 10th or something. And he got all of the sports news airtime, and this guy didn't get any whatsoever. You didn't even hear anything about it. It's disgusting. It really is. Wow. It's terrible. Yep.
I did see Jack Miller briefly on the TV. I was at the gym and went, wait, there's MotoGP, and then it was gone.
Right.
It's not on our radar here. It's really sad.
You know that the country where Wayne is a hero, but Wayne Gardner, an absolute hero, is in Japan.
Oh yeah,
because he punched someone.
Because he goes to jail. That's right.
Why? Why do they love him so much?
They do because he has endurance racing.
Yeah, the Suzuka 8 Hours, the race where we are going to meet next year.
Yes,
he has won that so many times and always in big Gardner style, you know, pushing and crushing and whatever. So in Japan, he is a really big hero between the racing fans.
Yeah, and because he's been so loyal to Honda as well, a Japanese brand over the years, he's been a massive ambassador for them over in Japan as well for years and years and years. Indeed, yeah. So Moto2, absolutely fantastic. As we saw, Marco Bezzecchi again. Like next year's got to be huge for Bezzecchi, right? He's got to do something. You've got to think.
Bezzecchi, and what do you think about Di Gianantonio racing in MotoGP. Di Gianantonio, Bezzecchi.
No.
You know,
Why?
It all came about so quickly, didn't it? Was it to do with his contract? But
no, we don't need it. We don't need that sort of stuff. It's seriously, you're gonna have Digi Antonio and those guys. You're gonna have Darryn Binder in MotoGP. It's just gonna be dangerous. It's gonna be like Moto3 down the back half of the grid. Is just going to be dangerous in MotoGP next year. It's not going to be good.
No, it's a shame because they push the level down with this.
Yes,
these
exactly.
type of riders.
Exactly, they do. That's right. So
because for example, Iker Lecuona, look, after what he has shown in the second part, he will be faster than Di Gianantonio and than Bezzecchi for sure. You know, you have to give some time to grow, but at the end, politics are very important nowadays.
Yeah, clearly, more important than anything. So yeah, it's like I say, it's very disappointing, but it's too late. We can't do anything about it now. So let's just see what happens at the back of the grid. I'd hate to be one of those top class riders that just has a bad qualifying or something happens and they have to start from down the back of the grid somewhere. That's not going to be good next year.
The first races, because they have to get used to this 280 horsepower bikes. So the first races for these very rookies, because there are rookies and there are the very rookies. Because I can imagine that these two guys you have behind you, they have potential, at least. You know, they show that they have potential, but others, they show that they are not ready to go, but they are pushed up. So we will see.
Exactly. That's exactly right.
We have to talk about.
Yes, we do.
That guy.
Oh, let me be a little bit posh with the Spanish. You know, the last time Spain has not won one title in the championship.
Oh, years ago.
No. 2009. Since then, we have every year won at least one
of the categories.
Wow.
Yes. And we continue with these guys.
Oh yeah, 60% of the grid is Italian or Spanish, and I think out of that 60%, probably most of those are Spanish as well. There's more Spaniards than Italians, so it's a credit to what things like Red Bull rookies and to what Dorna are doing in Spain with growing the sport as well. People like Pedro Acosta coming through. Absolutely amazing.
If somebody, Andra, if you want to see something, what racing is, look at the two last laps of Pedro Acosta.
Yeah.
Wow. Look, I have seen 450 races in my life. No, Grand Prix. Multiply by 3, this is about 1,300 races live. That 2 laps, my friend, heads off.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Incredible.
That was crazy. I mean, look, not like completely discount the Binder Foggia thing. The entire race, what he was doing, was he toying with Foggia? Like seriously? He overtook him. He started clearing off, and then he looked over his shoulder and let everybody go by again, so he could go and overtake him again.
I don't know. I don't know.
He has the shark,
like a cat and the mouse.
Yeah, playing with his food.
It was incredible. The shame that we didn't see that last sprint between those two, because it would have been nice to see them sprint at the end.
Yeah.
But okay, he has been more than deserved world champion. He is more than deserved world champion. I asked a former world champion, what does he do different than the others? Because, riders see things that we won't see even if we keep on watching for 10 hours.
Completely, yeah. That's why I love listening to Simon Crafar. He gives us some amazing insights.
So I asked this rider, I said, hey, what makes Pedro so different? And he looked at me and said, it's very simple. Like more or less, he missed to call me you're idiot.
Yeah.
He said it's very
Idiota.
simple.
Very simple. He's
Idiota.
fast.
Imbecile. He said to me, no, he does less meter than the others.
Even I've
Right.
noticed every corner, I think we've spoken before too, I really noticed now, maybe I'm starting to learn and pick up more, but the way he hugs the corners and he just rides with such efficiency and yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You said it. Look, because they explained to me, look, the lines in Moto3 normally are what lines for the riders to keep the corner speed because they don't have acceleration to the exit. So they have to, if they want to speed exit in the corner, they need the speed through the corner, right?
Like that.
Yes.
Yes.
Like
Look
Darryn
where he
Binder going
turns.
through the corner.
Look where he turns the bike.
Yeah.
And
The
you can see
others
there,
would do like
Costa's-
this.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
what
And
he does,
even without what's going on out here, these guys are already taking a wider line out here, and
Acosta's just
all the
hugging.
way over here. Yeah.
Yeah. So for
Yeah,
those
because
listening, not watching, there's just a picture of the incident with Darryn Binder, which I'm sure we'll get to, but you can see Acosta is hugging the line pretty much, and the rest of the riders had to go wide to make it through the corner.
Yep.
yes, because what he does, normally he rides behind the others, okay? He does the normal lines, Moto3. But when he needs to do a move, then he suddenly cuts he goes straight to the apex.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You know, then the problem is that if you go to the apex, you have to turn and your acceleration is less than the ones who are doing the wide line. But
Exactly,
he manages to go out with the same acceleration that the others.
Mm.
So we all can see this, but only he can do that.
Yeah.
You understand? Because the other riders could say, okay, I'll do the same. No, they can't because they don't have the technique.
Exactly.
As simple as that. For another thing that he does very well, he sees, how do you say, huecos? He sees places to overtake that the others don't see.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
And he does it without pushing anybody out. So because he's a clean rider, both
He's
Foggia and him were clean
very
riders.
clean rider. Yeah.
So that's what makes him special,
Mm.
you know, because he has a vision of the race and the point or how, okay, here is a moment to overtake. Now I move, which the others don't do. And this being a rookie,
He's so mature and strategic.
no experience, you know,
Yeah.
it's natural riding.
Exactly. Give him a year in Moto 2. Imagine what he's going to be like after that year in Moto 2 when he goes up to MotoGP. It's going to be quite scary.
In Moto2, the situation will be interesting. I'm really looking forward because when he arrived in Moto3, remember that he has raced with these bikes the last 2 years in the Spanish Championship, in the Rookies Cup. So he knew perfectly these bikes.
Yeah.
Because, okay, they are a little bit more powerful, but he knows how the bike reacts. He knows how to do to brake late. But now he's switching on a bike he has never ridden before. So it will be from scratch.
Yeah.
But I think we said before too, he's a bit bigger than the other guys and he's taller and he's...
Yeah. And look, we compared Remy Gardner and Raul Fernandez. It has taken a lot for Remy get where he got in Moto2.
Yeah.
While Raul immediately understood that bike.
Straight through. Yep.
So are we going to see Pedro Acosta struggling first to get used to the bike, or will we see a new Raul Fernandez?
Yeah, that's going to be one of the really interesting things for 2022, isn't it, in Moto2?
Yeah, there will be very interesting situation, and his teammate will be Augusto Fernandez.
Yes, that's right. Yeah,
Yep.
again,
who is a very mature rider, and who is supposed to go out for the championship straight, because that's why he went to the Akiajo team.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
I want this championship to finish and start the other one as soon as possible.
We're already talking about next year, indeed.
That's it.
So what about Dennis? What about poor old Dennis Foggia? I mean, he's, as by his own words, he's saying that he's been the better rider for the second half of the year, and if you have a look at the points differential, 5-6 races in, we were all saying, that's it, shut the gate, 2021 is over. It was 80 points or something was the gap between first and second in the Moto3 World Championship. For Foggia to get it so close, he's clearly, scored a lot more points than Pedro has in the second half of the year. How do you think he's going to be feeling next year as well?
Look, this is another thing I have been thinking about. Remember, look how many different Pedro Acosta we have seen this season. Remember the fresh Pedro Acosta we saw when he arrived. For him, it was funny. He was new. He went to every race to have fun. Yeah, I have passed, and I have won. Then suddenly he gets a gap. And I am sure that suddenly people start to talk, hey, now you have to manage this gap. And then he started not to be this fresh guy anymore. He started to be a challenger to the championship, probably surrounded by adults who were telling him, take care, no. So it was not him anymore.
He won that race from starting from pit lane. I think that's when everyone went, holy crap.
Yeah, but then he won, I think, 2 or 3 in a row, or 3 or 4. But this is when he just went out to race and to have fun.
Exactly.
When suddenly he turned into the favorite and everybody was looking at him, he lost that spontaneity.
Yes.
Right?
Exactly. Yep. Spontaneity. Yep.
And then the last Pedro Acosta we saw in Portugal, in my point of view, we saw a rider who said, okay, I go out and do my job. But it was not with the freshness of the beginning, but with the nerves of a rider who had to take a decision.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Nerves of steel as well, realistically.
Because don't forget, he's 16.
I know.
Yeah.
Or 17.
Just 17.
It's crazy.
He doesn't have to shave in the morning.
He's not old enough to drink.
Exactly. So obviously we look at them, but as grown up, but they are kids.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
And when they finish,
actually, I was thinking
the girls they look after are girls. They are not even women.
Yeah.
I've got a son the same age as him. We can't even get the bus to school on time.
What have you been doing with your life, Andrew? Why haven't you raised a child like this one? Come on. It's all your fault.
He needs to sort his shit out.
Unbelievable.
It's phenomenal.
So let's talk about Darryn Binder. Like, realistically, Darren's a friend of the show. We've spoken to him before. Yes, there's no arguing that he's a talented rider, but you talk to some of the guys around the paddock and they all say, yeah, when these things happen, Darren's normally involved. He's got the nickname Dive Bomb Darryn for a reason. And here he goes again. Is he? Look, I think we said beforehand, like, why is he and even who was, I can't see who that was. Is that
Garcia?
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Garcia.
Yeah, Garcia. Those guys should be nowhere near Pedro Acosta and Dennis Foggia. Realistically, as you've said, Manuel, there is
that a riding etiquette that you just don't.
You do. Yeah, you do. If those guys are racing for the championship, stay away from them. Let them go off and do their
Darryn
thing.
is. Look, he's way at the back behind them.
Oh, he's all the way over there. What are they even doing there in the first place? And if he's going to be there, surely have the common sense not to try and stuff it up the inside of one of them and completely ruin his year.
But now I want to hear Manuel's view on this, because I know, because I got ovaries and everything, I go, and because we know Darryn, I go, oh, he didn't. And obviously nobody intentionally causes those situations. So I was trying to look at it. Is it subjectively or objectively to see? I was trying to watch the racing line. I was trying to see, and my first opinion was that Foggia actually went a bit wide and slowed down a bit. So I was like, did Darryn have nowhere to go?
Just gone up the inside of him.
But did he, like you say, maybe they shouldn't have been that close to each other, but I don't know.
In Moto3, you can't
They do all
you
sorts
not
of
close,
shit.
Moto3.
ask not being close. Look how they are. They are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's
What's your take on it, Manuel? What do you think?
Look, as you said, I am completely with you on the opinion. They have to race, okay, and they have to race in these groups, but don't do risky maneuvers, okay. Brake when you have to brake. Don't try to outbrake these guys that are fighting for the championship. More 3 laps to the finish. There is no need. Okay, they can race there. Okay, if you have a clear overtake, you overtake. You are racing, but trying to push to force the things is completely unnecessary. And now Darryn has, he is now carrying a cross that. And for me, it's a shame because he's a nice guy, such a nice guy. I think he has talent to ride the bike, but he should have reflected more in the situation he was in.
Yeah,
but if it wasn't
this sort of thing can kill your career.
And that's what's horrible, because we've spoken about all this before. I mean, we've seen Zarco take people out. We've seen other people do stupid things and make mistakes. It's never intentional. And I know there was comments that, Darryn Binder ruined the whole season for Foggia, but really there's been however many, 20, whatever races where he could have got extra points and he would have won anyway. Like you can't sit there and say this one incident has stuffed up their whole season, or like, I don't know. They've been really.
And you know that after the race, Darryn went to the garage.
Went straight there to apologize.
Yeah. And those fiery Italians, they just went.
The Italians, Look, again, these things have to be solved among the riders, What the hell are these idiots trying to get the protagonist of this situation?
Yeah.
But I've even seen, other journalists have been getting death threats from people in South Africa and stuff. Like, people are just going, people are just going. We've seen this similar thing how many times?
Yeah. People get over emotional about these things. Like, realistically, we all do. We love the sport, and we have favorites and people we don't like, and that sort of thing. And when our favorite is affected by something, then we don't like that. But I don't think he did the right. I do think he did the right thing.
It's not like he's saying.
Yes, he admits that. That's fine.
Right.
I just don't think he's ready for MotoGP. I think he needs to take a serious look at himself. I hope he can. I hope he can really have a think about it in the off season and come back next year in MotoGP as a different person. If he can, then fantastic. Good on him. If he learns from it, awesome. But
look, next week, this same day, we are recording this on Wednesday. Next week, Darryn will be for the first time on the MotoGP.
Yeah, that's right.
In Jerez. And I will.
See how many
be there,
people he can take out.
And I will be there.
Don't get too near the track. He might take you
out. So we will see. But I imagine that at the end this will be forgotten, and they don't, because
I hope so.
But I imagine he will have a terrible pressure. Imagine his pressure in MotoGP, because there he knows that he will be with a guy called Bagnaia. With a guy called Mir, with a guy called Jack Miller. I'm sure that Jack would take him under his wing, because Jack is Jack. He's different.
Yeah. But if he takes Jack out, Jack will take him around the back.
He is OC for the good and for the bad.
Yeah, exactly. It's all the best in the world. That's exactly right, indeed.
And the one who will complain more are the prima donnas from Italy and Spain.
Yes. Indeed. So here we are. We've got 2 out of the 3 championships decided. We're that close to getting the other championship decided this weekend in Valencia. Are you going to the race, Manuel, or are you going to watch from home?
Sorry.
Of course, you're going to the race.
Sorry. Do you think that
after you say it? Come on.
After 17 races,
Valentino Rossi's last race ever.
I know.
I'm going to stay the number 18 at home just watching. No,
I'll just stay at home.
I'm going even for the test to Jerez. So
yeah. I'm
And
so jealous.
Then after that, yes. Then after that, I switch off, I guess.
For a
But
while.
no, I am looking forward this weekend. At the end, the only important thing is Remy finishing mathematically his championship, and then seeing Valentino in his because we have had Valentino's last race
In
5
all
or
the
6
places.
times so far.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. The last race.
Proper last race.
You know that all the flights from Italy are mega. O sea, the Italians will invade Valencia this weekend.
They will.
He seems like he's pretty chilled. Like he doesn't. I know you said it's going to be emotional, Manuel, regardless, but he seems like he's really made peace with it all, and he's just.
Yeah, no. He has in Misano where he had this big fiesta, no, call it fiesta.
Yeah,
he was pretty calm. But I can imagine that Valencia may be different because it's his very last race. In Misano, he knew that he had another 2 or 3 races to go. But no, in Valencia, it will be, fuck.
Are we going to see anything special?
Yeah, for sure. Look, if you see the poster of the Valencia Grand Prix, there is just one guy on the poster.
Okay.
Yep. Rossi's last
He's
race.
not even Spanish, and he's not even Spanish. And you know, in Valencia, they are the master of the fireworks in Europe.
Oh, of course.
Oh, brilliant.
Oh, it's going to be crazy.
You
have to
imagine.
You have to take some videos with your phone.
I've noticed that F1, they have all sorts of flashy fireworks and stuff. And I was like, why has MotoGP not got the fireworks?
No, you will see Valencia. They are famous European wise because they are the master of, how do you say, powder, no? Powder.
Yeah,
the gunpowder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see it in Portugal last week? Because they had the red flag.
Oh, yes.
Everything sort of slowed down and everyone, oh, yeah, we've stopped. And they went back into the pits and they started all filtering back in. And then about 30 seconds later, because they tried to do the same thing they were clearly going to have the fireworks go off as the winner went down the main straight. And then everyone sort of went into the pits and somebody went,
shit, press the button.
Oh, well, you press the button. And
yeah.
No, I didn't see that.
Yes.
Loser.
It was funny. Hey, you don't want to waste it. Didn't want to waste it. Just
exactly.
Do it.
They cost us 400,000, what's currency? Euros over there. Yeah, exactly.
Well done.
Yeah. And you know that Valencia circuit is like a stadium.
Yes, it's like a bowl.
The grandstands surround here, the stadium, and everything happens here. So from each point of the grandstand, you can see 80% of the track.
Yep.
And with that big grandstand, there is a lot of echo.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
The sound. So when they when they blew off these fireworks, it will be like Vietnam, amigo.
Yeah, it will. People are going to be having flashbacks.
Amazing.
Crazy.
Very
okay.
cool.
Okay, guys.
Manuel, have an amazing week. Really enjoy this weekend. I'm so jealous that you get to go there, see Valet's last race, see, fingers crossed, Remy win a world championship. Enjoy it. Please take lots of photos, share it with us, and we'll come back next week and we'll review the season next week.
Very good. Very good. I will enjoy. I will have fun. And basically what happens on the track doesn't matter too much to me. It will be the after.
Yes,
that will be better.
Absolutely. Get the work done.
Exactly.
So not as exciting as that, Manuel. I have to just tell everyone we've got the Australian Superbike final round happening here in Adelaide, where I live in, what is it, Stu? 2 weeks. 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
Stu is flying over here for the weekend.
I get to go to Adelaide.
Yep. So Stu and I are going to be out at the track. I think there's rumours that Jack Miller's going to be here and we'll be riding in the competition on a Ducati.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So yeah, everyone keep an eye on social media, and for God knows what's going to happen that weekend. But Stu and I are staying right near the track for the whole weekend.
Be awesome.
One question: is Troy Bailey's son racing the Australian?
Ollie? Yes, yeah. Ollie's racing.
Oh,
yep.
And how is he doing?
Good. He's just been signed to some kind of superbikes.
World Supersport. Next year he's going to World Supersport.
But he's racing actually superbikes.
But he's racing in Aussie Superbikes this year, yeah.
And how is his position in the championship? This is what counts.
Oh, I don't know. Let me check. But you guys keep talking.
Is he challenging the championship or not?
No, I don't think he is.
there hasn't the last 4 rounds have been cancelled because of COVID. They haven't happened. So they've made the decision to have this final round, which I think been a very messy season. I don't think they've had many races at all because we weren't allowed to travel in between the states. So it's a bit of a mess.
Yeah, it's been more of a demo sort of a year rather than a really competitive year.
And probably they will do more than one race the weekend, no? Probably.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sure,
yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Definitely.
Ollie Bayliss is 5th in the Aussie Superbikes. So
and who is leading? Who is leading?
So Wayne Maxwell is leading. You've probably never heard of him. Troy Herfoss.
Which bike? Which bike?
Ducati, of course.
Ducati.
On Ducati. You got Troy Herfoss on a CBR 1000, Glenn Allerton on a BMW, and then Crew Halliday on a Yamaha, and then Ollie Bayliss on a Ducati.
Wow, so it's a big mixture. BMW, Honda, Yamaha, but there is no Kawasaki who is leading the champion.
That's 6th. So behind Ollie Bayliss is Brian Starring. He's the top Kawasaki guy, and then Mad Mike Jones, who he's my personal favorite, Mad Mike.
Mad Mike, because of the name.
Exactly, yeah. Mad Mike Jones. Yeah, sure.
Okay, guys.
Awesome.
It's been absolutely incredible again, as always. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you get out, watch some racing if you can. Make sure you hit the notification bell, like, subscribe, tell all your friends about it, and get and see Rossi's last race this weekend. And we'll see you again next week on the Pecino Report. Bye.
Bye.